You are now listening to the smooth sensations and high vibrations of Alex, host of the best relationship channel on YouTube. Alex, drop them gems on us.
You got a big bag, let me take. Show me where your friends at, we can flip that. Let me put you on the game. 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 Show you where the red at, where the blue at. Show you where they flip that, where they bitch at. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game right there.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of the Elite Fleet. Got me a nice little tan because I'm just not back from vacation. I'm going to answer this question because it answers like 16, 17 different questions in my inbox all at one time. A lot of men ask me in some way, shape, or form, it just comes back to, should I be a provider or should I not be a provider? Does providing still make sense in 2025? Is a woman a gold digger if she's looking for a provider? Am I a simp if I'm providing? Am I not a real man if I'm not providing? So I'm going to try to answer all those questions in this one video, which is to provide or not to provide, right? And does a housewife still have value? Really quick before we get straight into it, if you guys have any questions you want to ask, I can answer them in video format. My email's in the description. Send me an email with your question. I'll answer it in video format, just like I'm answering this one. Or if you want to have a more private conversation, like about your in-depth relationship problems or your in-depth dating problems, or you just want to get your life together, or you want to talk about your finance, because I do work as a financial consultant as well, you can send me an email. I'll set up a consultation with you guys and I'll talk about all that too. Now back to the core question. I try to keep it simple, stupid, right? As in make it very easy for people to understand what's going on. So I'm going to do that in my response to this. Should you provide or should you not provide? I have two scenarios where, in my opinion, it makes complete sense to be a traditional provider for your woman, okay? And that is, one, if you're married and this is your wife, or two, if you have kids and this is your baby mother. Now, I'm gonna say this. Really, I like to combine the two because me personally, right, I'm under the belief that if you're married, but you don't have any kids, you haven't started a family yet, I think your wife should be out grinding. But we're going to come back to that because we're going to talk about the two scenarios where I don't think it's okay to be a provider. And we're going to kind of bring it all back full circle. And the two scenarios where I don't think it's okay to be a provider is, one, this is not your wife. Because at the end of the day, this is not your wife. She hasn't committed to you. Her father hasn't handed you over to her in marriage. This is not considered your property, right? I know your property is an outdated term, but I'm just saying that to further lay the effect, you have no ownership over this woman. So what in the world would you be taking care of her for? It doesn't make any sense. She's not your woman. She's not your wife. She doesn't have your last name. She's not your problem at the end of the day. So she should be taking care of herself. Or number two, if you don't have any children, all right? Now, some of you may be thinking, well, Alex, you said that you don't really believe in being a provider to a wife if you don't have a family. Now, that's my thoughts. At the end of the day, when you marry someone, if you want to be a traditional provider, you can do that. And you also might have a situation, and I've talked about this before, right? Where it's like, if you make, for example, $250,000 and the woman you're in love with makes $50,000, right? It doesn't really make sense for her to continue working because your lifestyle and what you can afford is so much out of the ballpark of her lifestyle and what she can afford that her working just gets in your way. Like the average cost of daycare nowadays, right? On the low end, and this is on the low end, daycare is going to cost you like $300 a week, for example, right? So that'll be $1,200. If a woman's only making $50,000 a year, right? That $1,200 is like one half of one of her whole damn checks. That's not her splitting rent. That's not her paying her car note, her car insurance, the electric bill, the phone bill, nothing else. Just childcare is going to take like half of one of her checks after taxes. So to me, at that point, right, and again, $300 is on the low end. Right? A lot of times daycare is going to cost you about $2,000 a month. So at that point, that's damn near her whole check. At that point, if you're making like $200K, you might as well tell her you're more valuable to me staying in the crib, right? Because now I don't have to put my kids in the childhood indoctrination camp, right? Or some daycare where they're probably going to be getting touched by some pedo, right? Or probably going to be getting their brains poisoned by some badass kids who don't have the same structure that we have. You're of more value to just stay in the house, watch the kids, make sure they're being raised the way we want them to be raised, kind of limit the number of influences they have, greatly limit the chance. Because again, as I tell you guys all the time, the most dangerous place for your daughter is in the arms of any man that isn't you, right? But even when we're looking past girls, just kids in general, way more likely to get assaulted or raped or something like that in a daycare system. So by having your wife at home, you eliminate that, right? They have your paternal figure right there. Every day, you're able to instill your values, you're able to teach them your systems, and you don't have too many chefs in the kitchen. That is better than you being out working full time, and basically in a whole month, you might could throw $1,000 into the bank account because you spend $2,000 on daycare so that you can go out to work. That's not valuable. So if you're in a situation like that, then, I would understand it. You get what I'm saying? But my thing is, it doesn't make any sense to me for you to be a traditional provider for a woman if you don't have a family. That's what I'm saying, right? Now, again, you might say, okay, because I have $250,000, I live a $250,000 lifestyle. Let's just say I bought a house or I live in a luxury apartment and it costs $3,000, $4,000 a month. So I just pay the bills for her so that, because if she paid half of everything, then essentially it would be her whole check still, even without the kids. My thing is this. First of all, what is she doing all day? Her ass still needs to go to work because she needs something to do, if nothing else, right? What is she doing all day? If you don't have any kids, now I will also say this. If you're making that type of money, I don't understand why you don't have any kids. Unless you just don't want any kids, which if that's the case, that would come back to me thinking, why would you date someone who only makes $50,000 and take care of them and have them in the house if you don't want to have a family? A housewife only has value, guys, if you have a family. Otherwise, she's just in the crib. I don't give a damn who you are. If you're in the crib every day and you have nothing specifically to do, cooking and cleaning ain't going to take you all damn day, especially when you don't have a family. So what is she doing with the rest of her time? See, feeling like you got to take care of a woman, even if you don't have a family, is how a lot of y'all get caught up. How a lot of y'all get cheated on, right? Because what's going to happen is when the repairman comes to fix something that broke down in the house that you can't fix because you out all day working to take care of your wife, she's going to see his muscles pulsating while he's doing the plumbing in your sink, right? She's going to see, his gun showing when he's getting the stuff out of the pool, and she's going to hop on his diddly, right? Or what's going to happen is she's going to get caught up with the little thoughts in your neighborhood, especially if you live in it really doesn't matter if you live in the suburbs or even if you live in the hood, it doesn't make a difference. She's probably still going to get caught up with the other wives, but it's more dangerous in the suburbs. She's going to get caught up with the other wives. They're going to be complaining about their husbands, talking about how they want to go out and do this and do that. Your girl's going to get caught up in that because, again, she has nothing to do. Or she's going to go to the gym, get caught up with a personal trainer. Like, you know what I'm saying? She needs to be doing something productive, right? Even if you just make her your secretary, which is still a job even though you're paying her, it's keeping her productive. It's keeping her mind occupied. An idle mind is the devil's playground. Let it breathe, run it back. An idle mind is the devil's playground. So to just have a woman and you don't have a family and she's just sitting in the crib and you feel like, oh, I got to take care of her because that's my wife, but you're not giving her anything to do. Again, if you don't have a family, there is not enough to do in your house to occupy your time. If you spend the maximum recommended hours of sleep, which is 8 hours, that still leaves you 16 hours in your day. If you're not working 8, right, and you don't have a family, what the hell are you doing for 16 hours a day? That's not going to result in you getting in trouble. The answer is nothing. Also, again, why would you want that? Like I said, if you are hiring and you don't want a family, again, if you want a family, it would make sense. You're like, I'm going to pick her because she's a good girl. I think she'll be a good mom. I can put her in the crib. I don't have to send my kids to daycare and worry about them getting fondled on or any other stuff or getting indoctrinated because my woman's right there. She's going to be the first point, of contact, the first one instilling values until they get old enough to go to school. That would make sense. But if you know you do not want any children, then why don't you go get you a hustler like yourself? Then you guys could put the bag together and live an even more luxurious lifestyle. You guys can now buy a mansion instead of just a single family home. You guys can now go to Dubai. You guys can now buy a vacation spot on top of your regular spot. You guys can now buy, a Maserati, a Rolls Royce. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not get someone who's on the grind the same as you, who has the same idea, but I ain't really worried about family. I'm just trying to get this bag and live my best life, and then you guys just live your best lives together. Or, for that matter, why not just be by yourself and then just sleep around? Like, there's just a million and one things that I can think of that would be a more productive way to spend your money if you don't want to have a family than to just spend it on a woman just because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. Especially in the era where women can make just as much, if not more, than men can make. It doesn't make sense. To me, this entire idea of, oh, you got to be a provider, irregardless of whatever the case may be, just results from a lack of masculinity. Unmasculine men feel like they have nothing else to bring. All right? The best gems come for those who stay to the end. I repeat, the best gems come for those who stay to the end. Unmasculine men feel like they have nothing else to provide a woman but money. They make themselves an ATM. And what's weird is the people who talk about the money dynamics in relationships the most, right, is usually manosphere and red pill people. And it's because they'll complain, oh, women just want your money. Women just want to take your money. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. But then they will also tell you, you shouldn't date unless you can provide. You shouldn't get married unless you can provide. So you're complaining about women being gold diggers and just wanting money on one hand, but then you're training dudes to stay completely off the dating market unless they have money. As if there's no other reason a woman would want you unless you have money. She can't possibly want you because you're just attractive. She can't possibly want you because you're a good person, right? She can't possibly want you because of companionship. You're cool as shit to hang around. She can't possibly want you because you put the D down, all right? She can't possibly want you for any other reasons. Like, your only purpose for being there. She can't want you because you fix, build, and repair things, right? Like, none of that shit. All that's out the window. The only reason she could possibly want you there is to pay bills. That is insane. Like, that would be the equivalent of someone telling a woman, hey, listen, you better be sucking that man's D 24/7 every single day. Because that's the only reason he would want you there. He can't want you there for your companionship. He can't want you there because you'll go get it just like him and he sees the vision of the type of lifestyle y'all can build. He can't want you there because you're a good mother, because you're a good cook, right? Because you have a nice personality. None of that other shit. It has to just be sex. So you need to be sleeping with this man every single day, all of the time. Why would you reduce yourself to that? And then on the back end complain about it. Well, men only want sex. Well, all you bring to the table is that. You guys get what I'm saying? It's like a trick bag. It's like they're trying to make you hate chicks by also trying to build you into the type of dude that made chicks hate you in the first place. Right? My mentality on that whole thing is completely different. I've seen women be with broke dudes. Why are you with this broke dude? Because the broke dude handsome. Because the broke dude lay good pipe. Because the broke dude is a good companion. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't recommend you be broke. Obviously, I want you to get a bag for your goddamn self to help with the woman, right? Before your goddamn self. But I'm just saying to you, when you feel as if, okay, I shouldn't date unless I'm in position to take care of somebody completely, or I shouldn't be married unless I can take care of somebody completely. Number one, you're minimizing how much go-getter females are in this generation, period, right? And two, even greater than that, you're minimizing yourself and your value. Because you're basically saying, if I can't be a walking ATM, why would anyone want to be around me? Why would anyone want to be with me? Which that says more about you than her or anyone else. Why would you think that about yourself? So again, there's nothing wrong with being a traditional provider, right? And that's why I gave a bunch of examples of scenarios where it would make sense to do just that, and where it could be beneficial to do just that. But to go out with a mindset, because I'm a man, I just got to pay for everything because that's the way we do. This is 2025. This ain't the 1960s. This ain't the 1900s, and it's not coming back. This is what I need you guys to understand. In this era, even if you pay every single bill, the likelihood a woman's still going to just want to stay in the house and do absolutely nothing but wait on you hand and foot is rare. Now, again, if y'all have a family and you take care of her so she could take care of the family, sure, I can see a bunch of women doing that. But to just have her shelved up in the crib, you know what I mean, all day with no real goals, no real ambition, no real reason to keep going every day. She's not doing anything. She's just waiting for you to come home so y'all can go on a date, or y'all can go out, or y'all go have some fun. Everything revolves around you. She has no money. Even if you give her an allowance, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Unless you have a family. If you're not having a family, in my opinion, you should go get you a woman who get into the bag just like you. Why would you want to me, that's a leech. A woman who's in the house all day and she's not taking care of her family is a leech. Why would you want a leech in your house all day being a parasite on your bank account? For no reason. Again, a woman you're taking care of who's in turn raising productive children and taking care of the household while you out grinding makes sense. In some cases, it can be cheaper. But to just have her in there, no kids, no nothing. She's just in there, just living for free. I wouldn't even want that type of person. I wouldn't even feel comfortable with someone who's just okay with that, quite frankly, because that's weird. Like, I know we're wired different as men, but just imagine, like, a chick saying, you don't got to do nothing. You don't got to have no ambition. Don't be chasing nothing. Don't have no bad, no nothing. I'm going to just have you in here, and you're basically going to be my fuck toy. Because at that point, that's what you're doing. You're paying to have a fuck toy. What else are you doing? She's not bringing nothing to the table. You didn't even give it there's no table to bring nothing to. You didn't give it an opportunity to. So that's my perspective on it, man. If you have a family, I understand completely, and it's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you a simp or anything like that to be a traditional provider. There's nothing wrong with it, right? But she has to earn the right to be provided for, right? And that's by becoming your wife and by having a family, right? Now, again, some of you don't want kids, and that's fine. But if you don't want kids, then I do not see the point in being a traditional provider. I am Alex, and I am out. Peace.